What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, I'm going to be giving you guys a complete breakdown on the Charles Woodson set. Is he worth getting? Is it, going to be too expensive? All of those types of things. But I want to start with this. You need 21 cards for Charles Woodson. So even these cards that aren't expensive, they add up. And I'm going to be going over talking about those things. And as we do dive into it, if you're new to the channel, please smash that subscribe button. Really do appreciate all of the recent support on the channel. So I want to start with the price. And so I'm going to look at the price of Charles Woodson basically before the two new cards that we're getting today, and then go from there. Because again, I do think it's important to give you guys the exact amount that this card is going to be. Because again, without that, it is really tough for me to give you guys an accurate representation of whether he's worth it or not. So basically, a lot of these cards you guys are seeing right here are 30,000 coins. Like Jameis Winston, Darqueze Dennard, a lot of these cards are going to be 30,000 coins, which doesn't seem, like they're going to be super expensive. But at the end of the day, it adds up in a hurry. Like through Braylon Edwards, and all these cards are relatively cheap, you're still looking at 283,000 coins. And so that's something that I personally was sleeping on, I would say, before today. Like I was like, it's not going to be overly expensive because all of these cards are cheap. And yet, as you're adding these cards up, guys, it ends up being pretty expensive. And so again, this is something I wasn't necessarily that thinking about primarily was, oh, well, these, cheaper cards are like, it's basically nothing. No, it still absolutely is something, because I mean, we're looking at right now basically through Josh Hines Allen over 700,000 coins. And so those things are the things that when we talk about, is this set for Charles Woodson worth it, you are locking in all of these coins. You're never getting these coins back. And a lot of these cards have honestly went up. Now, could they maybe go down throughout today? Absolutely. I'm not saying that they're for sure not going to go down today. But I will say this. This set right now, after Ogden, is nearly 1 million coins. And again, today, we have to realize Khalil, Mack, and Ndamukong, these cards today are going to be insanely expensive. They're not going to be cheap whatsoever. And even before we get to those cards, you're already looking at over 1.3 million coins. So I would guess to lock in this set, by the end of today, you're looking at over 2 million coins for Charles Woodson. And I know what people are going to say, Ty, that's not that honestly bad, right? Charles Woodson's going to be the best corner in the game. Charles Woodson is a 96 overall. All of these things. And honestly, I get it, guys. I get it. But here's what I want to tell you guys. We're not that far away from seeing another overall bump, in which we're going to see a lot of 94 overalls in bulk. Plus, when I'm looking at the cards you're locking in, who is going to play for a very long time? I think Trey McBride is an absolute stud. I personally like Kaysen. I personally think Ndamukong is great. But when I'm looking up and down these cards, most 91s, if you're locking in for Charles Woodson, simply aren't going to play. Most 92s, if you're locking in for Charles Woodson, aren't going to play. And so, you're locking in a 21 player card set in which 19 of those cards aren't going to play for you. That's the hard part I have with it. Charles Woodson is going to be fine. He's going to be great for you. I'm not doubting that. But you're locking in all your coins. Whereas if I'm you guys, and I'm just going to bring up something to your attention. You guys do not have to agree with me. That's what makes these videos fun. But if I'm you guys, and again, I play zone coverage, go get Sauce Gardner. And I know that, he's not as hype, all these things. But guess what? Sauce Gardner, there was one earlier for like 420. He's nearly just as good as Charles Woodson. And you know what? If you want to play man coverage, guess what? Go here to the 93 overalls and pick up a guy like even Kaysen by himself. Pick up a guy like Ashton Stamps, who has 93 speed, 94 acceleration, 94 man coverage, 95 press, and 90 change of direction. Now, I know he's not as tall, but he is an absolute beast of a card as well. You want an overall cornerback? Get Benjamin Morrison, 93 speed acceleration, 92 zone coverage, 88 change of direction for 77,000 coins. These are cards that are not going to be quite as good as Charles Woodson, but that are going to give you 99% of it. And so that's where I'm at with things. You know, initially I was like, Charles Woodson isn't going to be super expensive. All these cards are 30,000 coins. But as I'm going through it and really taking a deep dive on the card, I'm like, man, he is not worth it. And honestly, I think a lot of people are saving up to try to get Charles Woodson. If you look at the prices of the auction house right now, cards are really cheap. Like, people think that a lot of these cards are going to go way, way, way down in price. And so, I don't know. The auction house is in a weird place right now. And I get it, right? There's new content. It makes sense why the strong safeties are going to go way down in price. But overall, quarterbacks are super cheap. King Large is 200,000 coins. That's way cheaper than he was a couple of days ago. Like, I honestly, I think, you know, today is a good day to buy other cards that aren't even, you know, considered the hype cards today. And again, we'll talk about that later on. But I can't sit up here in front of you guys and say Charles Woodson is worth it. At the end of the day, that's my point of making this video. I do not think Charles Woodson is worth it. I just don't think he is, like, you know, a crazy card. Now, if Charles Woodson had 96 speed or even 95 speed, then we're talking. But the two main stats on the card, 94 speed, 94 acceleration. Now, the other main stat is change of direction. And Charles Woodson has it really good. Obviously, the height matters. The man zone coverage matters. But for me, there's nothing about this card that blows me away. 94. Remember these stats. 94 speed acceleration, 94 change of direction. You look at that right there and compare it to Cooper DeJean. Different card, but 94 speed, 93 acceleration, and 95 change of direction. You guys tell me down below, how can you tell me with a straight face that Charles Woodson is night and day better than Cooper DeJean? He's better for sure, but it's not by that much when you look and compare the cards. And you're locking in those coins. You're never going to be able to, I guess you get Charles Woodson and can sell him, but as far as the rest of the cards, you're going to be stuck with them. You're not going to have anything to do with it. And so at the end of the day, if you really want Charles Woodson, what I would recommend is just wait a couple of weeks. Wait a couple of weeks, because Charles Woodson and his price is going to go down. And like I said, if you want a good corner, pick up a guy like Sauce Gardner. That, for me, is where I'm at with things. You know what? I play more zone coverage than man coverage. Sauce Gardner is 6'3", and for the sake of this video, I'll buy Sauce Gardner, because I think he's going to play for me for quite a while. And I've got good corners, but not as good as Sauce Gardner. So you guys can go, do what you want to do, spend all your coins getting Charles Woodson, locking in for the card. I'm cool. I'm fine over here doing what I need to do. I would also say this, if you want a good quarterback today and don't want to spend on Cam Newton, I would pick up General Booty. Why? We know we're not getting a quarterback today. General Booty is, in my opinion, the second best quarterback in the game behind Cam Newton. It's not even particularly close. So those are a couple of things that I personally would be doing for you guys if I were you today. Instead of spending your 2 million coins locking in for Charles Woodson, go make your squad great. Genuinely. Like, that's my biggest piece of a recommendation for you guys. Instead of, worrying about, oh, I need to go get the new car that's so hyped up, that's so overpriced, go build the rest of your squad. You do not need to do anything crazy. So the auction house looks pretty expensive right now. So that is something I'm going to just wait and see on. Is the auction house going to go down a little bit? Again, we'll see, because even a guy like Darren McFadden, I picked him up. I think I've got an actual Darren McFadden card. And again, I picked him up, I think, for 80,000 coins. And I think right now, for Darren McFadden, is a perfect time to sell him. If I can get 199 out of Darren McFadden, again, I don't know if he's going to sell, but if I can get that out of the card, you've got to take it. You've absolutely got to take that for Darren McFadden. So we'll see, if I can go sell these Legend Moments cards that I invested. I didn't invest a ton of coins in, but I at least invested some coins in. I wonder if I can sell my Malcolm Jenkins, because these are Legend cards that today, I think for a specific period of time, no, he's unsellable, so that's fine. But for a specific period of time, these cards are gonna, have some decent value. So that's where I'm at. That's what I'm looking at today. I do not think, it's worth it. And even if you have a lot of these cards saved up, if you want to go do your thing, do it. I'm not going to be the one to tell you what to do, what not to do. But I am going to say this. I think it is a great opportunity for you guys, if you have any of these cards, to make some solid coins. So that's where I'm at. You guys can let me know your thoughts on this down below in the comments. Drop a like on the video, guys. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.